You're now going to learn the PSYC295 formula. One important thing to know right now is that to be able to calculate the PSYC295 formula, you must have gathered your data for both your X and Y data sets using either interval or ratio scales. Before we're done with correlation, you will be introduced to alternative correlation formulas that you can use when you have gathered your data using other measurement systems. However, for the PSYC295, the formula is explained conceptually on the slide. Covariability means that when there is a perfect linear relationship, every change in the X variable is accompanied by a corresponding change in the Y variable. Shown on the slide is the PSYC295 formula. Compared to the ANOVA formula, it should feel and is shorter and simpler. Also note that there are components within this formula that should look very familiar to you. At this time, click on the link next to this video entitled PSYC295 Chapter 14 PE Correlation Regression Formula Worksheet. It summarizes the formulas you will be using to calculate the PSYC295 correlation and regression equation formulas. On that worksheet, you're given two formulas for SP, which stands for the sum of the product of the deviation scores. If you examine the components of the definitional formula for SP, starting with the notations within the parentheses, what you are looking at are two operations, one for the X dataset and one for the Y dataset. Remember earlier in the semester, in Chapter 4 specifically, you learned the term and operation to calculate a deviation score? Do you remember what that is? If you remember that it is the process of subtracting the mean of a dataset from each score in that dataset, you were correct. That is what you see expressed in the definitional formula for both the X and Y datasets. The product of the deviation scores would be the operation of multiplying each X deviation score by its partner Y deviation score, making a third column. If you were using the definitional formula, once you did that, the last step would be to sum those scores. The definitional formula is useful to understand SP, but we will be using the computational formula because it is mathematically easier. Remember what to do for sum of X, Y? You multiply each X value by its partner Y value, and then you sum that column of numbers. Click on the worked example next to this video, and you will see an example of both formulas being worked.